Welcome to Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO. And this is our AEW edition. We're going to talk everything the week of November 8th, Collision, Dynamite. We're going to do our segment, and we had blood and guts. Ryan, what you thinking? How you feeling now? You squeezy? You throwing up? Did you enjoy it? Did you get a little excited in that women's match? You let me know. Let the fans know.
Yeah, I almost had tickets to this event because it was in my backyard in North Carolina, and I almost went, but then some circumstances happened at home that duty called as a dad, so I had to stay home and take care of things here. So I was unable to go, but I am kicking myself. I do wish, because of how
you regret it.
I do. I with how great that women's match was, I was like, man, I really wish I could have seen it in person. But I don't know if I would have seen anything because I feel like I would have been looking at the screen the entire time. So maybe I'm not regretting it, but seeing how great that match was, I was like, you know what? I do regret this a little bit. I wish I could have been there.
Those fans were excited, though. You would have been there. You'd have been like, grabbing onto a stranger next to you.
A lot of people there, too.
Yeah, North Carolina, bringing it down, bruh. Bringing it down.
Yeah, you heard Toni Schiavone. He said we're the greatest wrestling fandom in wrestling history. Yeah,
cut it out. Get out of here with who listens to Toni Schiavone. He also said Mick Foley wouldn't put butts in seats. So what does that guy know?
Yeah.
Oh, too soon. Too soon. All right, let's get.
He also called Mariah May a bitch on TV, and then people wonder why he left AEW. Yeah, but
dude, you son of a bitch. All right, hit the music. Let's go.
Two dudes with attitudes. Let's go. Two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, well, with that said, this AEW edition is going to be jam-packed, so let's get into it because Dynamite was a show. But we're going to start off with Collision, and Collision had its moments. It wasn't as great and as exciting as it normally has been, but it did have a couple pivotal things. And we're waiting for Ryan. Look at he's over there trying to put it up. He forgot we even did AEW. He's like, what's a Collision?
Yeah, no.
So there it is. So we got Collision going. It's been a while, been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. But speaking of shouldn't have left you, the Acclaimed. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. So they got interviewed in the back, and they're both going to be on the tailgate barbecue portion of the pay-per-view. I don't know what they do anymore. But nonetheless, they're going to be on the pre-show. And so they're going to go ahead and fight separately. They said they were going to be in a match. And Tony Khan, this just in, and Tony Khan says that he only wants the Acclaimed together. He thinks they make more money together. They put butts and seats together. They sell more merch together. They are just so much better together, which is funny because there was a time where the Acclaim were the hottest they had ever been, and they did a naughty rap where they talked about COVID and talked about a gymnast. I forgot the line they said, and Tony Khan suspended their asses for months and months and months, and then they came back, and Caster had one of the greatest raps ever where he was like, I love Tony Khan. He's super cool. I'll never say anything bad. You guys should look it up. It's awesome stuff. But it's so funny that now he thinks they're better together. But what say you? Obviously now we are getting the inevitable return of the Acclaim, correct? But is it going to happen at a barbecue pre-show? Are you going to tailgate that? I mean, I just feel like you're bringing back the Acclaim. Come on. I don't care what anybody says. They're bigger than FTR. They are the greatest AEW tag team of all time. I don't even think it should be debatable. Right? I mean,
no. Yeah, it should not be. It will be, but it should not be. Because they are the best thing that's happened to that tag team division. And I think it is going to happen. I think it's inevitable. I don't think it's going to be on Backyard Brawl or Tailgate Special or whatever they're calling it now. I think they need to do the match then, and they need to continue this little bickering thing that they're doing where they're like, I hate you too. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with you either. I'm the greatest wrestler alive. I'm the pride of pro wrestling, all that jazz. Let them continue doing that, and then put them back together officially on an episode of on an episode of Collision or an episode of Dynamite. Let it be on TV. Let the moment Do it at the right time. Don't do it next week right before a pay-per-view. Don't do it the week after pay-per-view. Maybe the following week, when because after Full Gear, you have a pay-per-view in like middle of December, so you got a little bit of time before your next pay-per-view. So do it then, and give us a reason to tune in to the next pay-per-view. So I think they need to get them back together, but also I don't think they just need to come back together. They need to get Billy Gunn back and let them like, I know people are saying Billy Gunn needs to go with his sons, with Austin and Colton and all, but one of his sons is hurt again. I hope he gets better soon. And then the other one's with the Bang Bang Gang. I don't think Billy Gunn his sons don't need him, but the Acclaimed, I think, need Billy Gunn. And I think Billy Gunn should be the one that brings them back together, solidifies them, and they do one more, or they go back to scissoring and everything. That was when the Acclaimed was at their best.
Scissor me, daddy ass. You know what? They were scissoring before that. So yes,
they were.
I like old school Acclaim, but I'm not mad at the Billy Gunn one. So if you want to bring that back, I'm good with that. I agree. This is also the first time Tony Khan's ever spoken truth, saying that they make more money together. It's about damn time.
Yeah.
Speak some truth. Yeah.
And I think that was his way of admitting, like, we probably shouldn't have broken you guys up, because they've been god awful as singles competitors, both of them. And maybe that was by design. Maybe that was part of the plan this entire time. I don't know. But I do think we got to get Billy Gunn back, because I think he can be the reason that they get back together. Maybe somebody attacks Billy Gunn backstage and Max Caster realizes that, hey, we got to work together because that was our boy. And then that's how they get together or something. I feel like they got to use him. Not Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn just came out of the blue to try to reunite them. It needs to be somebody that knows them, and that's why I think Billy Gunn's perfect for that.
I agree with that. I'm good with that. All right, something I don't agree with, and that's Jon Moxley continuing to lose. He wrestled one Roderick Strong. You heard me, the man who was pumping it to his main squeeze in the Death Riders in real life. And not only did he defeat him, he defeated him by countout. Jon Moxley loses again, and on an episode of Collision. Just imagine that. That's like Cody Rhodes losing the belt and then losing on an episode of NXT, right? Like, he's like, hey, guys, I'm here for NXT. Oh, I'm going to job to Javon Evans tonight. Count out. Fantastic. Like, I don't get it. Obviously, it's building to something which we'll get into the Dynamite, which I'll also say I don't get. But what say you? Was this a big moment on Collision? It closed out the show, man. A win is a win is a win is a win. I mean, Maxime Dupri's got a couple wins off of Becky Lynch right now. Count out or not, they're victories. Same thing with Chad Gable and Gunther. I mean, Moxley, Roderick Strong, like,
I think it says more about Jon Moxley than it does about Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly. I think it shows that just how unselfish Jon Moxley really is when it comes to putting over talent in AEW. I know that he's a 4-time world champion, but this guy, he has he's put over Darby Allin, he's put over Roderick Strong, he's put over so many people. CM Punk, probably when he shouldn't have. He put over MJF when MJF had just come back, and MJF was like at the top of his game. Like, this man is constantly, like, not only does he win matches and kick ass and looks like somebody I wouldn't want to mess with in a bar fight, but he's also just really like, I feel like you can tell he genuinely loves what he's doing. You can tell he's having a good time. And I love the fact that he put over Roderick Strong. I think that's a testament to who he is as a wrestler, because he didn't have to do that. And maybe he probably wouldn't have in other circumstances, but I don't like that he lost. I also, at the thing, as much as I appreciate what he did for those guys, I don't know, like the Blood and Guts match, like there is no advantage. So can we stop with the whole the winner gets the advantage?
Yeah,
and
there is no,
there isn't, because the match is just like War Games. It doesn't start until everyone's in the ring. So everything you do is
just like
completely irrelevant. Well, yeah, the only thing is you get pinned in War Games. Yeah, you get pinned in War Games. This one you have to submit or give up. That's the only real difference. But and they're introduced individually. They come out to their own music and everything. They're not in a pod.
We'll talk about that when we get there. We'll talk about the walking out.
The one thing I mean, this match was what it was. Good for Roderick Strong, I guess. But the one thing I did like was Nigel McGuinness on commentary when Roderick Strong was staring down Marina Shafir and he was singing the Married with Children theme song. I don't know if he picked up on that. He was like, love and marriage. It was just perfect stuff.
So funny.
It was good. Nigel McGuinness is underrated on commentary.
Yeah, he really is actually. He's really in the ring too. But well said. Yeah, and let's get into it. Let's get into Dynamite because that was the leading into it. But before we get into it, we can talk about love and marriage, and we can talk about her because we're gonna go straight in order. All 4 things that happened on Dynamite: women's blood and guts match. And what I have to say is bravo. Bravo to every woman in there. You thought Toni Storm was gonna bleed all over the place. Does she even bleed? I think she was only one of the few females that did.
Face paint on. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think she bled. No, but Skye blew for one walking out. I'm going to say it right now. I loved it. I wanted to order 17 hamburgers and milkshakes with those fries because she was shake it, or fries or whatever with that shake. But she was doing her darn thing, and she bled like in 10.7 seconds, and she wore blood very well. She looked good. This match was awesome. I even enjoyed Mercedes Moné for once. She had all the belts out there and used them as like weapons to come out, all her 25 belts to beat people up with. Fantastic. I liked the table moves. I liked everything. I liked Marina Shafir getting the victory and tapping out Mina. Well, not tapping out Mina, but putting Mina in the submission where Toni had to tap out because they're such good friends and gave up. And I like that after she tapped out, she attacked Marina and started beating the shit out of her because she wasn't hurt. And then they jumped her. And if you don't know if you noticed, Marina Shafir is sitting there laughing, like after getting her ass kicked. She was like, all bloody and everything. And the thing that I think made this match better than the men's is that it doesn't matter if it's an episode of Collision, a pay-per-view, an episode of Dynamite. Men are going to bleed. They go through tacks. They go onto nails. They use forks. They cut. We don't see this a lot with the women. So it was nice to see Willow Nightingale bleed. It was nice to see these women because maybe they want to. Like, I'm not a big believer on blood. I think blood in AEW it needs to be a special occasion like they do in WWE. They use it way too much. We don't need these poor athletes to bleed nonstop and cut themselves or purposely get cut. It's stupid. But the women, maybe they want to do it. Maybe they want to be treated like the men. So they said, yeah, Toni, we want to go have a blood and guts. And goddamn, will this forever be remembered. They all showed out. They all did their things. The right team won. The villain standing victorious. Bravo. But I really do think it's because it doesn't always happen. So it felt good. And that's what Tony Khan needs to realize with the men's. You do it all the time. Another dude fell on a spike of nails. I don't care. Another guy gets stabbed with a fork. I don't care. But this was done perfectly. Bravo, women. This is match of the year candidate. I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah, I think it might be there. It might be because it was, like you said, it was everything about it was fantastic from the beginning to the end to I like that everybody in the match played a role. They all played a role in the victory. You know, it was every woman was holding Toni Storm and holding her up while Marina Shafir is has Mina Shirakawa in the chokehold to make Toni Storm give up. Like every single heel woman was involved in that, with the exception of Mercedes, who was thrown through a table. But so it was you had
she looked good, bro.
Yeah, Skye Blue was in there. Everybody did their part. Everybody looked fantastic. I loved the stuff with Willow. I like that they told stories. They talked about the tension with Willow and Kris Statlander because Kris Statlander was a heel who turned on Willow Nightingale. So they kind of touched on that, and then Statlander and her feud with Mercedes Moné going into Full Gear, like all of that I thought it was just done. Everything was done really, really well, and then they continue to hype up the tag team title tournament by showcasing the tag teams in this match. Just everything about it was great. Everything. Julia Hart showed out. Everybody showed out. Skye Blue. Shout out to all of them, man. That was there's a lot of people out there that are like, this match should have closed the show. No, you've never done women's blood and guts. You want to get people. I think Tony Khan actually did this correct. You use it as a way to get people to tune in. I have a feeling this match will probably get a higher rating, probably, and then what happens afterwards, we'll see the numbers dip most likely. But I really hope that this match gets a significant rating and that a lot of people watched it because it was damn good.
I don't know. I think it's going to help the ratings. I think people tuned into this and said, holy shit, I need to stay tuned.
I hope
even after. So, yeah. No, I think I was perfect on the card. Yeah, 100%. Well done. All right. After this, we had Hangman Page defeating Hobbs in a non-title match. I don't know why Hangman Page would take this match, but once again, it's just like all the other ones. They hit each other with things. They went through chairs and tables. Not went through chairs, but they went through tables from a high point. Hangman Page won. He's victorious. Then he gets beat up by the other two Ops members after the match, including Samoa Joe. What say you? is this good TV? I mean, it was a good match, obviously, but 6-7. What are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what's the point is what I'm saying. To make Hangman Page look even more dominant before he wrestles somebody he just beat cleanly a few weeks ago?
Yeah. And now they're going to be in a steel
this.
cage. Yeah.
Hey, oh, yeah, sorry. And they announced steel cage, which also 6-7. Like, what are we? You can get over a cage. I don't want to break it to people. You can get. I like how you laugh every time over 6-7. I don't know how you. I guess it is funny. I don't know. My kids somewhere in their rooms right now are listening to me, probably going like, "That's our dad." But yeah, like you can get over a cage. So this isn't like stopping people from getting in.
Yeah, like as we saw with Hook and Eddie Kingston when they were lowering the cages from when they were going after Samoa Joe and all them. Yeah, like I mean, I get that Hangman Page is showcasing everybody and Powerhouse Hobbs. He's no slouch. I thought this was a great match.
Good. Yeah,
you look great, but I don't understand why they had to do this match on. How do you follow up that women's blood and guts match with that? And then like you talk about tiring out the crowd, like. You went from one hardcore match to another hardcore match. Falls count anywhere, all over the ring, just fighting everywhere. It was just, I don't know. And it was non-title. So, like, is he really a fighting champion if he's not putting the belt on the line? I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing. Maybe it's to, like you said, to make him look tougher because he's beaten Powerhouse Hobbs. Now next week he'll probably wrestle Shibata, and then he'll get Samoa Joe.
But he already looks tough. We don't need him.
Yeah,
to
that's
tougher. Hangman's that dude. He's that bitch, as Jade Cargill would say.
I agree. This just felt like they were putting him on the card because he wasn't in Blood and Guts, and we got to have our world champion on the show. So let's throw him in something. And that's how it
Okada?
felt.
Put Okada out there. I like to see Okada wrestle anybody else. We didn't need. Time. Yeah. All right. Well, talk about a segment that should have never happened. And I feel like I'm dogging Dynamite because I thought this was a really, really good episode. And I did enjoy the Hangman Hobbs match immensely. I thought it was a fantastic match. Very enjoyable. But Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came out for no freaking reason, talked pointlessly. FTR's music hit and he kept yelling out, "I know him." I don't know if he was supposed to be saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, but why were you yelling that randomly? You said it again when he got there. FTR ends up attempting to beat him up, which looked really depressing. Like Ricky couldn't even like get on his knees to like take the fake move. And then he was saved, ran off. Ricky got a few moves in, and now we're getting Brodito and FTR. Oh, wait, we already were. What was the point of this, Ryan? Make it make sense. Why was Dragon there? Did I miss something? Is he's not from North Carolina? That's Ric Flair. I know he brought it up. But what are we 6-7? Once again, 6-7. What are we doing
so
here?
They apparently announced on Collision, I think, that Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat were going to be on Blood and Guts in Greensboro because that was where they were all there when Sting retired. There was he pointed out the poster of the North Carolina, the wrestling goats or whatever, and Sting was on there with, I think it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, and there was one other person. I can't remember who it was, but it was just from everything I read and everything all the dirt sheets are saying that Ric Flair was introduced to the crowd before the show started, and then he started complaining backstage that he was having like pain in his arm, or he was having from like a recent rotator cuff surgery that he had, and so he had to leave the taping early, and so that caused Tony Khan to have to like rewrite a segment, and
that's why
that's why it was so like off, because it was like hastily thrown together. Like it was like thrown together. It was one of those Vince McMahon type things where they were rewriting it while the show's on the air, while the women's blood and guts match is happening. They're like, okay, we got to come up with something, and that's what they came up with. And so I feel like that's why it was so awkward. I'm sure we'll get the real story at some point, but that's everything what the dirt sheets are saying, that Ric Flair was supposed to be there. They had something else planned, but because he left, they had to kind of throw something against the wall and see what stuck. But
just take it out and put on a random match. That was just bad.
I agree. Or just have FTR just cut a promo and and do something with Brodito. You didn't need to have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on there, but it was sad.
Also, what was with that Stokely line? He talked about how his favorite wrestler was Macho Man and how he doesn't see him on Twitter anymore. I don't get that at all, just because
that's who was on
WrestleMania 3.
That's who was on the. It was Macho Man. Yeah,
and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat like lost his. It looked like he was really upset. He even tried to attack him again. I don't know if he was just acting, but it was like I'm like, you really took that person you wrestled at WrestleMania 3 really seriously, and I didn't get it either. Like doing a dead Macho Man joke, Stokely. Like, what year is it? Like, we're still.
I know, but also like
it was a very weird. It was the whole thing was weird, but
all of it, it was really weird. Stokely thinks he looks like Denzel Washington, which I thought that was a funny line, but
that was
funny. But I didn't. Yeah, the Macho Man joke. Like, what was up with that? I didn't get that at all. Was he joking or was he serious? Was it? I didn't take it as like he was saying his favorite wrestler. I took it as he's saying his favorite wrestler is Macho Man, and that pissed Ricky the Dragon Steamboat off. But then
Ricky was pissed. He tried to get him like 3 times. Like FTR was talking, and he like went at him again. I was like, "What the hell's happening?"
Yeah, but it was like, was he like disrespecting him? I don't know. I don't know. This segment.
He said he hasn't seen him on Twitter in a while. The Twitter wasn't around when Macho Man was alive. I don't. And Twitter is like, that's a thing now. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the main event, and that was 1 hour long men's blood and guts match. And I have 2 things. I'll let you talk about the match. You can break it down. But my things I didn't like. 1, we got to go back to the women's one. Let's teach Mina a little something about entrances. Every single time she has an entrance, she's usually saving somebody. She doesn't just like come out for a match. Why does she Jeff Hardy it every single time? She understands that she doesn't have to do her 45 seconds of poses when she's saving somebody. She came down, her teammates are getting their ass kicked, and she's like, Mina, let's go, Mina. And then she like went out. The men's blood and guts match. Why did they have every single Death Rider come out from the stands? It's when you get called in, you're getting beat up. Why did they have them slow? Like first it was Daniel Garcia casually walking. His Wheeler is getting his ass kicked, and Daniel's just like do 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 from the stands. Let me bring my hot dog through the crowd. Jon Moxley was like spitting water still, high fiving bait. I'm like, get to the what's the point of an advantage if by the time you get to the damn ring, the next person's coming out? It'd be like the Undertaker being in this match and doing his intro. Roman Reigns. Like I was like laughing. It threw me out of the match. That threw me out of the match. I'll let you break it down because you know what else threw me out of the match. But did you not notice that, or am I the only crazy? Was I doing crazy pills watching every single one of them just casually come out to the ring for 35 minutes? It literally took each one 2 minutes to get to the ring, while their partner's getting the shit beat out of them. And
why are they coming? Like, I understand that's their shtick is to come through.
Okay, the crowd, but not for this match.
Not for this match. Come out down the stage.
Yes,
like everybody else, because this is a different type of match. Or like, just be waiting at like the barricade. Be like, okay, you need me? All right, I'm coming. You know, like he climbs over the barricade.
They should have all just been standing there hanging out. Yeah, and you have one go and.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're just playing their music, and there's just like. I didn't get that at all.
It took so long.
I know. It's like hurry up. It's like when they a Royal Rumble and the stage is like so long that it takes like by the time the crowd counts down.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. What was that? The last Rumble? It was one of them. We did like a live viewing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? I was like, oh my gosh, this stage was like so big. And it takes them forever to get to the ring. That's how this felt. But yeah, the match was definitely less superior than the women's. The women's was
for sure
the match of the year. I don't think we'll be talking about the men's match at all moving forward after this. I think Kyle O'Reilly actually made Jon Moxley tap out, and Kyle O'Reilly won it for his team. I didn't like the whole thing with Mark Briscoe. Oh, is he not going to be able to make it? And then he's out there in the freaking match anyway. It's just like it made me think. For a minute there, I was thinking somebody's going to debut, somebody's going to return, or somebody's going to come back. And I don't know who I thought it was going to be, but I was just like, this is an opportunity for somebody to, make their presence known in AEW, or maybe they get a big star, or maybe this is somebody else coming in. But it was just freaking Mark Briscoe. I was just like, that was really underwhelming and disappointing. I thought, and then like the Darby Allin. Also, okay. What took me out of the match?
You almost died in that match. continue. Yeah.
What I really liked about the women's match was they utilized the cage, they utilized the structure, and they kind of came up with creative ways to bleed and creative ways to make the cage the weapon. The thing I did not like about this match was like the structure's there to keep everybody in the ring. Here they all are fighting outside of the damn ring. Like they're all, Darby Allin's going through flaming tables, and Mark Briscoe's on.
He was on fire, by the way.
Yeah, he was on. He was like, he was quick to get out of there. Yeah, it was just like, I thought the whole point of the Hell in a Cell is for them to fight in the cell. The whole point of War Games is to fight in War Games. The whole point of Blood and Guts is to fight in the cage. So let's take it outside of the cage. Like that, all of that was really, really stupid.
I agree. I don't know why people loved it so much for that reason. I didn't like this match that much. I liked it, but I didn't, because the bleeding was from forks mostly, which is stupid. I hate the fork thing. Stop it. Just make them bleed the real way. If they bleed up against the cage, they bleed. Hit them with a chair if they bleed. But they got on top of the cage, outside. They were going through tables. One guy was submitting. Was it Kyle O'Reilly was submitting someone? And they're like, if he taps out, it counts. I'm like, how does it count? What are we doing? What, like you said, the point of the brutality is because they're in a cage. If they all leave the cage, then why do you have a cage? Just make it a war. Just make it an all-out brawl between two teams. It's so stupid. So stupid. And then Moxley tapping out to Kyle O'Reilly due to an ankle lock. Are you shitting me? You just built up Jon Moxley for 6 years in AEW as being the most brutal wrestler ever. All of a sudden now he's tapping out. But Denton, MWO, he's going to just get kicked out of the Death Riders. Okay, then have Darby tap him out. Have somebody like Kyle O'Reilly. You're going to tell me right now, because you said, well, the hardcores are saying they might. They ain't pushing Kyle. He ain't winning no belt. Get out of here. They're doing, this is all for nothing. Nothing's going to happen to Kyle O'Reilly. He's not that dude. He's not he's not going to surpass Okada. No, yeah. He's not going to surpass MJF. And he's not that, sorry. He is a B-level fighter forever. That's what he is. So what are we doing here? It's so stupid. I get Marina won the first one and they lost the second one. He lost again. He keeps tapping out. They're going to kick him out and be done. I get it. I'm for that. But have somebody else better do it. By the way, Darby Allin got thrown up against the cage by Jon Moxley, I think Claudio, and he hit it and then fell through the ring because the ring was away from the cage. I thought he died. That dude, getting lit on fire. But
he's invincible, man. Yeah.
Dude, he is. The match was fine. It was good. I didn't like the ending. I don't like that they got out. It wasn't a bad match. I would have given it a thumbs up if it was a PLE for our pay-per-view for us to review. But yeah, the women definitely showed out way more. Like you said, the women utilized it being a cage match. They got out, but they just basically got stuff and came back in. But the fact that the announcers were like, you could tap out outside of the cage, then just take the cage away.
That was not
keeping anyone out. What's the point? Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're putting Darby through a flaming table in the crowd. It's time to move on.
Didn't Darby when he got put through the flaming table, didn't he leave? We never saw him again. So
he probably has third-degree burns.
But isn't that technically him giving up? You know what I mean? Didn't they technically lose the match because he was not there? He wasn't there for the finish.
No, because fire doesn't make people quit, and ankle locks do.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I'll give him credit. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, he wasn't my first choice to tap out Jon Moxley, but they're telling the story when he almost tapped him out a couple of weeks ago, and Jon Moxley had to knock out the referee to prevent himself from tapping out. So now he actually taps out. And like you said, if they don't do anything with Kyle O'Reilly moving forward, then this was a complete waste of time. You've been building up Darby, you've been building up Moxley, but you don't have Darby factor into the decision at all. But if they do build up Kyle O'Reilly from this, then I think it was the right decision. So we got to wait and see. But people are saying that Kyle O'Reilly should enter the Casino Gauntlet match for the national championship, or maybe he goes after. He's been wanting the TNT title, so maybe he dethrones Kyle Fletcher. Because the whole thing with the Kyles, I don't know, but yeah, they got to do something with Kyle O'Reilly. They have to capitalize on this. Because I feel like you got to AEW, man, they have a tendency to not strike when the iron's hot, and right now the iron is hot, so you got to strike. But they're going to wait 3 weeks, and it's not going to matter.
How's that Iron striking with Darby Allin right now? He's a superstar, right? He beat Moxley, made him tap out. How's that world title?
No, I agree.
For Darby?
Yeah, no,
just saying. They're not doing anything with it. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Y'all are just talking. He ain't doing nothing. He's a B-level fighter. He's not doing it. This was all for nothing. Just so you know.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Have Orange Cassidy tap him out. Makes more sense. Orange Cassidy's a dude. He has history with Moxley. He beat Moxley. Like, this makes no sense. But neither here nor there. I hate to end it on such a sad note because I did think Dynamite was fantastic. I do like the Blood and Guts. I'm not going to say it's better than War Games. You want to know why? Because I haven't seen War Games yet. But nonetheless, it was fantastic. It was a great start. Fantastic stuff, but nonetheless. All right, that was our weekend review in AEW. And AEW's cooking, bro. I think WWE is cooking too. They 6-7. They both do awful things. They both are doing good things. But it was a very good. I don't like that it was 3 hours. Might as well just make it a pay-per-view. But nonetheless, fun stuff. But let's get into it. We are doing overrated, underrated. I don't think we have a song for this, do we?
No song. I wish we did.
No, we do not. But this is very easy. We're each going to give each other 2 different scenarios, and we're going to say if it's overrated or underrated. Ryan, you go first. What you got? Hit me with the good stuff.
All right. So this guy's a topic of discussion right now in the IWC. He was on his Talk Is Jericho podcast, and he made some comments about TNA quickly becoming the number 2 wrestling promotion, and that AEW is, their time in the ECW arena looked like a horror. I can't remember what he said, the horror movie or something, but it was one Chris Jericho. So basically told us he's re-signing with WWE without telling us he's re-signed with WWE, because the first thing he had to do was bash AEW on his way out. It's like a thing you have to do now. You have to bash the other company you used to work for.
Only for Chris Jericho.
Before you go to the other company. So if he's done with AEW, I want you to tell me Chris Jericho's entire run in AEW, was it overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
Well, number one, let me tell you this. Chris Jericho is probably, and I'm not even going to get politics involved because that's the reason why, but he is the most full of shit, hypocritical pro wrestling fan in the history of the world. And I know one of our biggest 2 dudes fans, one of my best friends, Patrick's going to be so mad at that because that's his hero. But he is. He talks only out of his ass, sideways out of his ass. This is the same man. I said a long time ago, I think 2 years ago, I said he's going to go to WWE because he wants to go to the Hall of Fame. It caught wind. I'm not saying because of me, but at that same time, it caught wind. And he was in an interview. And somebody asked him, hey, your contract's up at the end of the year. Are you going to go to WWE so you can go to Hall of Fame? That man, quote unquote, was basically like, that means nothing to me. I don't care to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll never go there again. I'm at the better show, this and that. Fast forward to now, all of a sudden AEW's Bush League, TNA's the greatest thing ever. This man, like, you're allowed to, like, not bash other I'm so sick of this whole like AEW sucks, WWE sucks. How about you just, one doesn't have to be good for one to suck, and one doesn't have to suck for one to be good. They can both be good or they can both suck. They don't have to like, can't we just enjoy wrestling? But nonetheless, his AEW run
That's why my name is Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Yeah.
Right. 100%. His run is underrated. I'm going to say that now. Being the first ever champion was fantastic. Without him, I truly don't think AEW is where they are today. People wanted to give it to Hangman on that match. No freaking way. The company would have not survived. They could have given it to like what else did they? There was all sorts of wrestlers Cody Rhodes. They were no way. He was it. Chris Jericho has history. He helped carry that company. Then he had phenomenal feuds with, the MJFs and so on. That whole thing when he sung with them, he carried. AEW was at its best when Jericho was head honcho. Then he had multiple factions, which all did really, really well. He helped make and boost people. Shit, one of them was a TNA World Heavyweight Champion until today in Santana. He made people better. Spoiler. Chris Jericho's, which was insane as well. I guess he signed with WWE then, right? But it's 100% Chris underrated. And I say underrated because you can't overrate something, right? You can't say it's overrated or underrated unless it's like not appreciated or under. And I don't think it is appreciated. I think people now sleep on Chris Jericho for who he is, for his weight during the time he was chubby and they didn't think. No, he did some of his best work in AEW, 100%. He kept revolutionizing himself. I give it underrated for sure. I loved his run in AEW.
Yeah. I think it's very, very highly underrated. And I also think that I think revisionist history plays a factor into it too, because I think the last memory we have of Chris Jericho is with him with the learning tree, and everybody hated the learning tree. So that means that Chris Jericho's entire AEW run was absolute dog shit.
It got better.
It did get better.
It got better. It started off shitty. It got better.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It got a lot better. It was growing, no pun intended. It was growing on me there in the end. But yeah, like, but because of that, because everybody hated the learning tree, that means his entire run was trash. Because that's what we do in wrestling. We overanalyze every little thing, and it means that the whole thing was bad. But I think it's highly underrated. I think losing Jericho is going to hurt them worse than losing Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. I think it's going to hurt AEW in a big way.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, you had me at CM Punk. You had me at CM Punk, and then you said, "Okay, here's the thing."
Your first world champion. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I did say when he kind of got out of the spotlight, it kind of went down. But you know when AEW really stopped being good is the day Cody Rhodes. It has not been the same since. It really has. Hardcore fans could pretend it has not. True. The ratings have never been the same. The show was. I'm telling you, Cody Rhodes took the soul of that company with him. I don't know about that, but I'll give you everything else. I'll give you everything.
He refused to sell it to The Rock, the bastard. But.
Yeah. Because he had two. Why not? All right. Yeah. You ready? Overrated or underrated? Mercedes Moné's AEW run. We both start off with runs. Everybody either hates this damn thing or everybody freaking loves it. I've not seen anybody yet in my comments say it's good. Everybody has basically said it's the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever. Overrated or underrated, her run so far in AEW since the beginning, since it was Basta Dynamite or whatever they called it, whatever the name was. I forgot what it was. Money.
I can't remember. Money. It was Boss Week. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, because she wasn't Money yet. She was a boss. Yeah, it was Boston. Something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna say it's been overrated, and the reason why is because you know she just hasn't been worked. She hasn't clicked since the moment she started. I don't think, she started off as a babyface. It was like, I'm the CEO, and the fans didn't like that. Now she's a heel, and the fans still don't like her. There's something like her character is just not working, and she refuses to change it. Now, I will give her props. She's been taking some losses lately. She looked good in the Blood and Guts match this past week. I thought she looked great in the ring. She looked great like this. They were telling the proper story. She didn't factor into the decision at all. She just lost in the tag team title tournament. She lost to Toni Storm back at All In. I think she needs to lose to Kris Statlander, and I think maybe eventually this run can get a little bit better. But right now, I think it's very overrated. She's taken that TBS title, hardly ever defends it. I don't care about this belt collector gimmick. She has all these titles. I don't think it's really doing anything for the independent companies that she is. That she works for. I don't think it's helping AEW in the long run. She's not helping the ratings. She's not helping the attendance. People aren't tuning in to see Mercedes Moné. They're not tuning in, period. But they're really like, she's not drawing new fans in. She's not bringing eyes to the product. And because of that, I think she's very, very overrated for what she was signed on to do versus what she's returned since she signed.
Basically, everything you said, I agree. I also think it's overrated. And I'm only doing that because the AEW hardcore fans are the ones who are claiming this is the best thing ever when they know deep down inside it's not. You made the comment in our WWE edition that I'm my girl, like meaning it as a joke. I do love Sasha Banks.
Oh, I love her too.
I would date her. I would marry her. I pay to watch her wrestle. I'll do whatever the hell she wants me to do. Mercedes Moné, though, not it, fam. It's just isn't it. It's just not clicking. It is what it is. You come up with bad ideas and they don't work. Not everyone's Chris Jericho where they can have every gimmick basically work for them. But yeah, she's doing nothing with these belts and everything. And she ain't losing to Kris Statlander, bro. You can keep thinking it. All y'all can keep thinking it. Yeah. She ain't losing again for the world. I just don't see it happen. I don't see it happening. I think she's gonna be Statlander. Do you notice Statlander winning that Blood and Guts with her title on? She was like fighting with it on. I was like, girl, take your belt off, but all right, whatever.
She didn't want Mercedes to take it from her, but
but she will soon.
But I said talking about our WWE episode, everyone should go check it out. Go Go find it because it's good stuff. It's always good stuff. But we talked about how I think Bayley should leave WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mercedes could benefit from having Bayley in AEW. I think them as a tag team, them as a feud, them together, them in a faction with Athena. Like, I think all of that would really, really benefit Mercedes in the long run as well. So it needs to happen.
I agree. All right. What's your last one? Let's hear it. Overrated or underrated? Give it to me.
All right. Let's go with the booking of Okada in AEW.
That's so hard. That's the hardest one I've ever been asked. Only because it's so flippin' perfect. But that can't mean it's underrated, because does the majority of the people think it's perfect? Or do people think, does he wrestle enough?
It could be properly rated.
So people, but that's such a cheesy way out. Oh, God. I mean, I truly think, other than Jon Moxley, Okada's the best thing in AEW going on. That includes, and I love Hangman, I love MJF, Swerve, all foot, but it's like Moxley and then Okada and everybody else. No, you know what? I'm still going to go underrated. I'm going to go underrated because I don't think people appreciate him. I actually think there's not many people that feel the way I feel. After I said that, I don't think so. I think a lot of people feel like he's not that great and he's not being, and this and that. I think he is being underrated booked because I think he is phenomenal. I think he is being perfectly booked in a sense, and people aren't appreciating it, which makes it underrated, right? Yeah, that makes it underrated. So yeah, I'm going to go with underrated. The dude's him. He's him. I think he would do. People said he didn't sign with WWE because he couldn't do it. I think he could survive in WWE. I think he would be the norm. I don't think he would be like Shinsuke and all these other guys. I think he would survive. I think he's that damn good. Okada, dude, he's like Shohei, right? You see other Japanese pitchers and players, and you're like, all right, but he's like a Japanese pitcher who's 6'3", 6'4", built different. That's like Okada, man. He's just built. He's just has that aura to him. Yeah, man. No, I'm going to say underrated. I
think it's highly, very, very underrated. Especially right now with like this build with him and Takeshita is perfect. The build, everything they're doing is great. His one-liners backstage or
timing is fantastic.
He's dropped the bitch stuff and he's doing more one-line. It's all good stuff. Everything he's done. His stuff with the Young Bucks, his stuff with the Elite. Now the Young Bucks might join the Don Callis family, or they may not. That's going to add some tension, and that's going to create more of a wedge between him and the Bucks. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on with Okada. And like you said, I don't think fans really appreciate it, so I think it's very, very underrated.
Yeah, I agree. All right, last one. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. AEW doing so poorly and bad in the ratings and attendance as of late, and as of late for a while. Is this overrated or underrated? Meaning the care and the hype and the concern of it. Is it overrated or underrated? Yeah, you didn't expect this one, huh?
Yeah, Meltzer would tell you it's overrated because they get 12 million views on Max, so it doesn't matter.
Did you saw that? Did you see that was debunked majorly though? Did you hear about that? And so was their attendance. Did you hear they were lying about their attendance? That Tony Khan got caught not only lying for the one that he said he broke the record, but I guess All In recently he claimed there was some amount and only like half of the people were there and this and that. And people are like, it's not getting a lot of waves, but nonetheless, either way, is this overrated or underrated? It depends on how you're like, is it a big deal or not, right? Overrated or underrated? People are making it a big deal.
I think it's underrated. I do. I think it's a big deal, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because I think they're locked into this TV contract. I think the thing that AEW needs to worry about is not ratings or attendance. It's whatever happens with Warner Brothers Discovery because they're for sale right now. And if they're sold to Netflix, if they're sold to Paramount, if they're sold to NBC, then that could be the end. They could be that could be the end of AEW on national TV, which means they might have to go to YouTube or they go to Amazon or they go somewhere else. So if I'm Tony Khan, I'm more worried about that than I am people attending your shows and people, but I know it all plays a factor, right? If it was highly rated and people were watching it, then they wouldn't be wanting to get rid of it. And I'm not saying they want to get rid of it, but so there's a lot of factors there. But I don't think AEW's biggest issue is ratings and attendance. I think AEW's biggest issue has been marketing and promotions, which leads to poor ratings and attendance. And I think if they can straighten that out, they can get people, Adam Copeland is leaving to film a movie. Tell us about the movie that he's filming. Go show us, scenes from, interview him on the lot filming the movie. MJF is filming a movie. Go interview him. Go take us on Entertainment Tonight and show us on the set and talk about that on Dynamite. Samoa Joe is on Twisted Metal. Like, you wouldn't know, like, Chris Jericho was in the Terrifier movie. You wouldn't know who any of these people were in these movies. Yeah, because they don't talk about them. And I feel like that's the one thing that AEW could really benefit from is marketing and promotions. When we went to Revolution, you wouldn't have known that they were in Revolution if we didn't, or in Los Angeles, if we didn't watch AEW. There were really hardly any signs for it. They didn't do any meet and greets. They didn't do anything before the show. It was just, hey, there's a pay-per-view at the Staples Center Crypto Arena at 3:00 this afternoon. Be there, be square. And sit behind some annoying fans, but that we saw on the front row of Monday Night Raw, but whatever. But like, it was just, I don't know. I feel like if they had just promote things better and they market it better, then I think people will tune into it and watch it. But like, I don't feel like they know what they are, and I think that's what they got to figure out.
Yeah, you said underrated, but I think what you're saying is overrated, right? Because I think the ratings big deal is overrated because it's not that big of a deal, like 6, 7. Like, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. And here's why, right? Because yes, ratings matter. Yes, attendance matter, but they started fixing that. They're in smaller shows, venues now. They're filling up those seats. AEW doesn't need to book a 20,000 seater if they're only going to fit 10,000. Do it in the arenas, right? When you're in LA, you'll fill up crypto. So you can do it there. But when you're in smaller midtown areas, just do it in smaller arenas. Ratings doesn't matter. I don't know. As long as they're getting the sale revenue and the sponsorship, which I don't know if they are or not. But them going to YouTube wouldn't be a bad thing. YouTube TV is pretty popular right now. They're in a war with Disney. People are like standing behind them because Disney's evil. And I don't even miss ESPN. Yes, you do. Stop pretending like you don't miss things. You do miss Disney and ESPN. So get out of my face with that.
Does that impact the ESPN app? Like, can you not watch Survivor Series on YouTube TV? Like, if you log, like, I've been wondering about that.
No, you can't. No, YouTube. It's
there's two standalone services. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to have ESPN by itself. So if you subscribe just to ESPN, but if you're getting it because you have YouTube, then no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah. So I could see AEW. YouTube would be genius. They take up YouTube TV. The problem with AEW too is their pay-per-views, man. They need to get on a streaming service where they can give their
that is their issue.
Because $40, how many people? I don't know. I'm not Dave Meltzer. I don't pretend to have numbers, but it can't be that great. It can't be so good that they're making all this bank on their pay-per-views. Because if you still were, then why did the UFC leave? Why did the WWE leave? If pay-per-views were still making that, why is boxing now on Netflix all the time? Like, if you were making that much money, then why is nobody doing it anymore? So I just feel like it's a dead art. Get out of it. But nonetheless, I still think it's super over because nonetheless, Tony Khan makes a lot of money, bruv. He's gonna figure it out. He will figure it out, and they're not gonna die. So whether or not they're on Warner Brothers or Max, and it's not like Max is that great anyway. I only watch it on Max now. I have to go to the search and hit AEW. Yeah. I have to search AEW every single time. Why do you not have there's nothing. You go to sports, it's not that. There's no section on Max for AEW. Why? Why are you even on there then? They have their whole library and they don't have a section for it. That don't seem like anybody cares about them. But hey, they sell their pay-per-views for $40. So there's that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think it's overrated. I don't think we should care as much as we do. I think people need to stop over.
Yeah, and I think with Netflix and Peacock, we don't talk about this nearly enough. With WWE just had lowest rating SmackDown in a long time with less than 1 million viewers, but WWE's not hurting. They're fine. They're not going to cancel SmackDown. Like it's
their SmackDown in less than 1 million viewers.
The Halloween episode, yeah. But it was going up against, it was a Halloween. It was going up against Game 6 of the World Series. There was all kinds of determining factors.
Oh, but damn, doesn't that do 2 million? That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it dropped down to like 938,000, I believe it was, that watched it. So it was close, but not quite there. So I mean, I think ratings just don't matter right now. I don't think they do.
No, they don't. As long as you got the sponsorship. All right, that's overrated, underrated. And now it's time for our weekly episode. And that's where we do our LVD and MVD of the week, where we talk the least valuable and most valuable dude or dudette for this week in AEW. Doesn't mean we hate you. Doesn't mean we love you. It just means you're the worst or best booked. Let's see if we match up. Who is your LVD of the week? It has to be the same person. Right?
Yeah, I got to go with my threshold for WWE was someone who was on SmackDown who got pinned, and someone who was on Raw and got pinned and lost the titles for her team. So it's going to be the same thing for this week with AEW. And this one, Jon Moxley, he was on Collision, got pinned by Roderick Strong, and then he was on and lost the quote unquote advantage to Roderick Strong of all people in Blood and Guts, and then he tapped out to Kyle O'Reilly in the main event closing match of the Blood and Guts match itself to Kyle O'Reilly. So it's got to be Jon Moxley. Lost the match for his team. Where does he go from here? Does he get kicked out of the Death Riders? Does he take a break? Does he go back to WWE? Like, where is he going from here? Curious to hear, but it's got to be one Jon Moxley. He keeps taking L after L after L, and I don't quite understand why this is happening. So it's got to be Jon Moxley. No, there's really no other choice.
I don't even need to talk. It was Jon Moxley. The end. He lost to two scrubs. And that's not taking away from who they were before. They were a part of the biggest faction of all time at one point. But in AEW, these dudes are scrubs, and he lost to both of them. So, sorry, y'all. Next, move on. So we might have the same one, too. Who's the MVD of the week?
I'm going dudettes, and I'm going...
Oh, we have different then. All right.
I'm going Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne. The two, you could give it to all the women in the Blood and Guts match, but those two women in particular really stood out to me as forces to be reckoned with. That tag division, like they are the favorites in my opinion to win the tag team titles. I love them as a tag team. They have to. Like I know people are saying it's Toni Storm and Mira Shirakawa. They should be in the finals, but Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir should take them out. Marina Shafir looks like an absolute stud. Yeah, she looks like an absolute stud. Megan Bayne is fantastic. Like Megan Bayne hitting him with that belt, just all of it was just really, really good. And Marina Shafir with the chokehold looked like a badass. Like those two women, in my opinion, were the stars of the Blood and Guts match. They outshine Mercedes Moné. They outshine Toni Storm, your two biggest women's stars. They outshine Kris Statlander, the women's champion. These two women are them. They are hers. They are fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what they do. And shout out to Megan Bayne. I took notes for this one too, but apparently she's wrestling in Japan as well. So Megan Bayne wrestled on Dynamite last week, flew to Japan, then wrestled in 3 Stardom Tag League matches, flew back to America to win the first ever Women's Blood and Guts match, and then after Dynamite ended, went back to Japan to continue in this tag team tournament. So she's going from Japan to the U.S. to Japan to the U.S. and putting on banger matches. Like we take for granted what these men and women do like in the ring, but we forget about what they do outside of the ring. Like all the travel that they're doing, traveling around the world, going on one side of the world to the other for our entertainment. It's not easy to make that kind of trip. We've been doing it on a regular basis, on a weekly basis for wrestling. Like it's taxing on the body, but I mean these people they're doing everything for our entertainment. So shout out to her in particular.
That's wild. I did not know that. Yeah, good call out. Good for her too. She's beautiful and great in the ring. She's improving. Yeah. They need to win the tag team titles. All right, my MVD is a little bit different. I went the other way. I went the men's one, and that's one Kyle O'Reilly. This guy submitted Jon Moxley. You just called
him a scrub.
Yeah, he is a scrub. That's why it makes it that big of a deal, because I don't want no scrubs. A scrub is a guy who he tapped out Jon Moxley due to an ankle lock. We haven't seen ankle lock submission victories since Kurt Angle, for crying out loud. Tapped him out, won the match for the team. How can you not be the MVD? Scrub or not, that's what makes it more. That's like when the Water Boy started playing football, right? He was a scrub, became a champion, all leaguer, all division champ of football. Yeah, that's Kyle O'Reilly, right? Like, good for him, because he'll never pass this peak ever again, because he's not getting booked after this. Quote me. Yeah. Ain't nothing happening. But yeah.
I do hope you're wrong on that. I do, yeah, because I feel like
Yeah,
they
I
have
hope
to
I'm wrong
capitalize
too,
on it.
but I'm
Otherwise, what was the point?
barely ever
Yeah.
wrong.
I think you might be
Barely
right.
ever wrong.
Yeah.
Barely ever wrong. Who knows? I'll eat a shoe. But anyway, there it is. That's our AEW week in review. Thank you so much for tuning. It was a hot week for AEW. I know we had some, bickering things of what we nitpicking, but we do that in WWE too. But we love it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit us up in the comments if you agree or disagree or what you think is on we did on pop. Yeah, whatever you agree with and with us. And
Overrated.
also don't forget overrated. Thank you. That was the other show. But yeah, anything you think was overrated or underrated and how much you love Mercedes Moné, let us know. And as always, if you just want to check me out, hit me up on all social media on my_wrestling_opinion. And with me as always is
It's Ryan Enjoys Wrestling on all the social media platforms, so go follow me there. Go follow us on X at 2DudesPC, on Twitch at 2Dudes_with-attitudes, on Instagram at 2Dudes-with-attitudes podcast, on YouTube and TikTok at 2Dudes-with-attitudes. Go follow us and help subscribe, help us grow, go comment, tell us what you think, tell us what you know, tell us your wrestling opinions, tell us your hot takes, and we'll respond to all of them. So go comment and tell us what you like about us, what you don't like. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we're in the top 10% of all we listen to wrestling podcasts. Help us keep climbing up the ranks and get us into that top 5%, that top 1% of all the podcasts out there. And the way to do that is to leave us 5-star ratings and reviews and tell everybody around the world who your favorite two dudes on the internet are. And as always, we appreciate all of your love and support.
Two Dudes Wolf Pack. Thank you. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to